Hi guys, and welcome back to the JKT Radio Podcast, where all your bad jokes go out the window and we throw pandemics off a balcony. I am your childlike host, Kira, and I have with me, I have my Trevor boy and my Devon boy. I hate it, thanks. And my blob. Where's my blob at?
I'm a blob.
You're a blob. I love you.
I like that that's just become a running thing now.
You're a blob. And as always, because we are recording at home, thanks to our lovely lockdown, there are 100 animals.
Yeah, and just that's just like 90% of them are at your house.
Yeah. You have
Yes.
a monopoly on the
animals.
the critters.
Yeah.
I have that menagerie going on.
I have two. I'm working on a third.
I bet you're secretly like the daughter of the Kratt brothers.
And the Kratt brothers are walking in the woods. Well, I used to love Zaboomafoo when I was little.
I forgot that they had a name. I could only ever
Yeah.
remember Zaboomafoo.
They were Chris and Martin.
Yep, I do remember.
Their names were Chris and Martin of the Kratt brothers. They had a cartoon TV show after a while.
They did. I
Yep.
forgot about
Oh yeah, it
that.
was
I
like
think that's what they're
cartoon
doing
for
now.
Zaboomafoo, wasn't it?
No,
that's-
even past that. When they got really old, I think it was just before the actual lemur that played Zaboomafoo died. They had an animated TV show about them going out and learning about animals, and it was quite good. It was targeted at like 5 to 10, but
Yeah.
I watched it because it was the Kratt brothers.
Well, I
'cause they're
mean,
Yeah, of
amazing.
course.
the original Zaboomafoo was also targeted towards like 5-year-olds. So
It's just that
Yeah, but we were around that age when it came out.
yeah, it just so happened we were like 5 when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
totally that
yeah.
age when it came out.
Or
No,
you
it
know,
was
20.
it's 5 to 10-year-olds, because you gotta also think it is also quite a bit of learning in there.
Oh
It was
yeah,
one of those
absolutely.
learning shows.
God, do you guys remember when they would go to the closet and then they would open the closet and every single time they would
The
just get
closet.
flattened?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God. Hey guys,
I owned
That's
one.
right.
I owned several of those
it
animals.
came out in 1999.
I was
Damn.
4.
It ended in 2001.
It
They were on
2
reruns
years?
a lot though. Yeah, it
was
only ran 2 years.
seasons.
Oh god, that's so weird.
Oh god.
But
I'm
you gotta
realizing
think
how
it was
terrifying.
Zaboomafoo, and then like the Kratt brothers had their own show. I think either before or after it.
Yeah, they did.
And then there was the show with the girl, that was their.
There was a girl.
There was a girl. She was in half the episodes. She was like, I want to call it the eye in the sky, but honestly, she just asked them questions from the public
oh,
because
See,
they had
I have,
they had a mail-in service.
See, like, I have, like, no memory of my childhood for the most part, so...
Let's see if I can.
Although I
Thankfully,
looked up,
I have
you guys
super
actually
access
looked
to
up-
the internet.
Yeah, have you guys looked at what Zaboomafoo looked like in the show?
Yeah,
In
Yeah.
recent
Like a
Not
lemur.
times?
recently. I have an
I
image
re-
in my mind, and I don't want to change it.
It's terrifying.
See, here's the thing.
he was a puppet.
Yeah, he's
You
a
don't like
puppet.
puppets.
No!
You don't like puppets.
Yeah, I've
Well,
been
yeah,
going
that's-
through Netflix and like the ads for the Dark Crystal TV
No.
series has come up, and
Oh,
Chrissy's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
like
It's fine.
I've never seen Chrissy more like inherently terrified than just
I, like,
rats.
curl up into the corner and growl when
And
it's
Okay.
creepy.
It's really funny because they're terrified of like the good guys, like the Gelflings and stuff.
Oh, those
you
are
look
the
at the
most
Skeksis.
terrifying things.
Thank
You
you!
guys and your fear of
Oh, I
puppets.
hated
Really?
those.
Thank you!
But
The cartoon show I'm thinking of is called Wild Kratts, by the way.
That's
Peach,
it.
get out of here. Get out of here, Peach. You don't belong. You are over the size limit.
I feel
Out.
vindicated.
Get out.
she's over the size limit even after she's pumped out how many puppies?
9. I have to go get up and get out.
9. The mighty 9.
9.
I feel vindicated, though.
But
Somebody
yeah, like,
understands my terrifying fear.
because at least for like the Dark Crystal, like the other thing, the tall
The bad-
pterodactyl looking
The bad
thing.
guys.
Yeah.
Oh, the
like,
Skeksis?
yeah, like, sure, they look terrifying, but they look good. They look
Yeah,
terrifying.
they're well
and
done.
good. Whereas
Yeah.
like the Gelflings, it's like, stop it. Like I don't like
Get
Cupid
that
dolls as it is.
demon.
That's a whole new level.
That's like Uncanny Valley taken to the extreme.
God, yeah,
They
exactly.
look like they're just gonna demand moisturize.
It's
me.
like the Henry Cavill's CGI face in Justice League.
No, you know what? Also,
Yeah.
whenever that start with the Star Wars with the guy that's dead, he shows up.
The Star Wars with the guy
Oh,
that's
in-
dead. That could be
Oh,
all
no.
9 of them.
That could be all 9. You're talking about Rogue One though, where they brought Tarkin back,
I think so. Yeah.
but they CGI'd
Oh.
Tarkin because Peter
Oh,
Cushing
yeah,
has
that
been
was
dead for like
weird.
20 years, and he turns
Yeah.
around. And it's annoying because like you look at it and it is good CGI,
But there's something wrong
Yeah.
about it.
but like no matter how good it is, it's still like it doesn't matter. Although there is a very good example of that in the Blade Runner sequel, where they because the original Blade Runner was like made in the 80s, and now then like a couple years ago they did the sequel.
Yeah.
Or they brought spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Blade Runner, even though it's been out for
I
years.
mean, it's been
They-
out for a few years now, so.
Yeah, and like even when it came out,
I mean,
nobody
to be fair,
went
though,
to see
I
it.
haven't seen Blade Runner, but I
Yeah.
don't particularly care about spoilers.
Yeah.
But they bring back the Sean Young character, who's like was one of the robots or the replicants.
Androids.
Yeah, androids.
Oh, okay.
But they bring them back. But like in this, it's the scene because it's like they're bringing him back. They're bringing her back to like show the Harrison Ford character, like, hey, look, we can replicate the woman you fell in love with, and they bring in Sean Young, and she looks exactly like the Sean Young from the 80s. And that one is very good. But thing is, what they do some really clever stuff with it though, because it's like she only speaks a handful of lines. She's not, and it's only one scene, and also just the way the lighting is, it's like, so it's not like in Rogue One where it's like they're constantly cutting back, like, because in Rogue One I get the feeling it's like they thought their effects would be
Cover up
good
the fact
enough
that he's dead.
to basically be able to like, hey, let's keep cutting back to this character because he's actually a fairly large portion of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like one scene. So it's like I feel like you can do stuff like that now. I've seen it done. But
I mean, even in like
Trevor, I'm sorry.
No.
Your worst nightmare has been realized. She's awake and she found a hair tie.
Well, shit. All right. Well,
Context.
just keep an eye on your audio, and I'll do what I can on my end.
I'm sorry.
context?
The cat
No,
broke my
'cause,
audio last time.
Oh, I see.
How did
Yeah.
she break your audio?
Because
Is
she
it
sleeps right. Yes, of course it's SnowCloud. She sleeps right by all my wires.
Oh no.
And
So-
she did something last week, and for some reason, just like your audio just skipped ahead like 30 seconds.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So I had to like match it up with everybody else.
Oof. Oh.
Yeah.
Did we want to talk about the PS5?
Oh yeah, I guess we haven't really
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about the
let's do that,
PS5 and the Xbox reveals. I don't know. Did anyone else here watch the PS5 reveal thingamajig?
I watched the PS5 one.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
forgot.
like, and it's really funny because it's like I honestly working at EB Games honestly made me more sick than I already am of the whole kind of console war thing.
But they're kind of cool.
But
Don't they both look like computer towers?
well, okay, the PS and
The
thing is,
Xbox
I
One
say that
is straight up a tower.
it is a big brick, a big
Yep.
long brick. It looks like a computer router, and granted, they both do look like computer routers.
Well,
But the PS5 looks like a sexy computer router.
and looks like Joey.
It does.
From
And it's
Yu-Gi-Oh.
funny because I actually saw an ad for a gaming tower. I think it's like Alienware or whatever. But like
Oh,
the
yeah,
first
of
time I
course it
saw
is.
it, it's like, oh, it's like early release of the PS5. It's like, nope, that's a computer. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, Kaiba, not
That's
Joey.
Alienware.
Yeah.
God. I do know. Oh, did you hear about the? That's not Joey. That's Kaiba.
I know. I said it after I realized.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't want to be that asshole
Hey,
who
listen.
corrects.
I didn't care about any of them except Yugi. Okay.
I mean, that's fair.
Joey was the dweeb, and he had a red-eyes black dragon.
Well, hang on. Are we gonna forget about Yugi boy. Whoever that was, I actually can't remember who that guy was.
Seto Kaiba. No, not Seto
No,
Kaiba.
It was the guy with the long hair.
The white hair.
With the
white hair
eye.
dude. With the eye.
With the eye. He had the Millennium Eye.
Yes. Who
he was
was
only
he? Let me delve
season one.
into our nostalgia of weird.
Okay, I guess typing in white-haired anime boy does not help.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that
No,
he looks
it
like
really
so
wouldn't.
many other anime characters.
What was your name, boy?
White-haired guy, Yu-Gi-Oh. Not that one.
Oh yeah, no, the
Yeah, no, it's not Yami Bakura.
that
No, I
one.
know. But
whoever
that's
that is.
Maximilian
It wasn't Bakura.
Pegasus.
Pegasus. There we go. You found it at the same time I did.
That's a stupid name.
Yes. Are we?
Well,
Gonna,
he was a multi-millionaire.
Are we gonna
Maximilian
ignore
Pegasus?
the fact that all of the Yu-Gi-Oh show was stupid?
Well,
Hey,
that but that
it was
goes without
good.
saying.
I
You
agree.
guys remember
Bullshit good.
I love how we went to go and talk about the PS5, and yet 5 seconds in, it like just veered into a
Yu-Gi-Oh.
conversation about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, I know.
That's how this works. No, I was did you hear? I don't think they might have announced it now because Ubisoft had their conference I think at noon today.
Yeah, I just saw a little bit of it.
Well, it depends on
But-
what we're talking about.
The Far Cry 6 leaked
Yeah.
2 days beforehand.
Oh,
It did, yeah, because about a week ago, the actor Giancarlo Esposito was like, "Hey, I'm in a video game, and I'm in a really big video game, but I can't talk about it yet." And everyone was
That's
like,
well, that's
Nope,
obvious.
nope, that's not the leak, Devin.
"Well, no, because I didn't saw afterwards the PSN leaked the cover art, which had him on it."
Nope, even worse.
Oh,
Wait, what? Really?
There was a Japanese manufacturer, not manufacturer, a storefront, actually posted the game, the cover art as well as a description of the game, and they posted a bunch of stuff that would be like the blurb for the game when it came out,
Yeah. Oh.
and it was obviously it was all in Japanese, and it was taken down by Sony themselves
Somebody's getting
later on.
fired.
Someone's in big shit. It does look good. I am
The
intrigued.
trailer for it is
It looked
something.
really neat. Although at this point, I feel like every major game series now is just like nobody's safe from the leak because
No.
like I remember when The Last of Us had their
Yeah,
their
but-
leaks earlier this year, and people were like, you know,
I'm excited for Dragon
throwing
Age.
shit.
Because
I
there's
want
been-
Dragon Age to leak.
Well,
Yes.
no, there were in when they did the trailers and stuff like that. There was actually a bunch of like screen
Ooh,
caps.
well, actually, because that was technically a different thing. That was the EA Play
Yeah.
thing, which was
Yeah.
a couple days afterwards, and honestly, was a massive waste of time. There was not anything really that
No,
interesting.
that's not true. Horizon.
Find the secret
No,
words.
but the Horizon was the. Oh my god, that was the stupidest thing, right? I was just like, okay.
What?
Well, because the EA Play thing, it was basically like the PS5 stream, except it was
Lame.
just for EA
Oh.
products.
It was
And
bad.
the only cool thing was that one Star Wars game, which looks
And
really
also,
cool.
didn't they talk about remastering Mass Effect, or was that a different thing?
No, that's been rumors. People were kind of expecting them to talk about
Oh.
that at the EA Play, but they didn't.
They did not.
I do know that there's hints that they may actually, from what I've read, it's possible that dwarves might start getting magic now.
In Dragon
Well,
Age.
there's a lot of thinking about with I'm sorry for anyone who's never played Dragon Age. The dwarves used to be a part of the Fade, and that's where the stones are floating, because that's what's left over of the memory of the dwarves.
That's possible.
Is they would see the caves above you.
Because I think the Evan Urus like drove them underground.
Well, because that was
Especially
the whole
Elden
the Descent DLC for Inquisition.
Yeah, with
talked a lot
the
about
Titans
that.
and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And the
I never played Descent, so I can't go
Neither
with that
have
one.
I just kind of read
I've
about
played
it
all of
a
them.
little bit.
But I know like
I haven't played
Elden
any of the Inquisition.
drove them underground or something like that. From when you read some of the codexes about this angry sun thing or something like that. I haven't read it in a while, so I'm not sure the
Yeah.
details of it.
But the fan theory is essentially the dwarves used to have magic, used to be connected to the Fade. Something happened, and now they're not. So they lost their connection to the Fade.
It makes sense.
They lost their ability to use magic.
Because doesn't Cole mention something about that too? About how, like, they're reaching for something or other?
Yeah, that's where the theories have come from, a lot about talking about Cole, because he gives spoilers to everything without realizing it.
He is The Deus Ex
He's
Machina.
one big spoiler.
I'm also
Um,
realizing, I think, because you, me, and Kira have all played Dragon Age. I don't think Trevor has, so Trevor, how
No, I
lost are
haven't.
you right now?
I'm
should play
trying to
Dragon
follow
Age.
along. I know
He's
of
doing his
Dragon
best.
Age.
Well, here's the thing. The thing is that we're playing Dragon Age is also
Oh.
making me realize, at least us three, we gotta get back to that Dragon Age playthrough, because that was really fun, what we were doing there.
Yeah, we gotta like be able
past
to leave our
concession.
house.
The problem is that was an in-person playthrough. So if you guys could technically do the past position,
Yeah, but it's not just the fun. Not. I mean, I would love to, but also it's not fun with just the two of us.
yes. The other problem is I don't think you guys can record the PS5 without PS4 without me.
No. But on the same
Yeah.
time, I do know, like, with my work, they're starting to loosen some of the restrictions, so I think things are trying to be a little bit more normal. But
What's normal, and also they've already announced that there's a high possibility BC goes back into lockdown.
probably,
Yeah, I heard
not that
about
anybody.
too.
Yeah,
I'm
Like,
just
it was
going
so
to continue
stupid.
to stay at home. So
yeah. I mean, it was
Like,
so
the
stupid.
the
I went to work
restrict-
yesterday.
Meanwhile, I'm
Yeah.
going back to full-time hours this week.
Oh,
I went
man.
to work yesterday. We got fish in. We have all of our animals in, except for like some of the birds. I go in and like so normally we've had like kind of like a wartime barricade up, like all of our like I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm kind of not because we had like basically a big kind of wall created out of the merchandise and stuff like that for pet care. And now it's been opened up so that everybody can walk in and sure, there's still a sign that says one person in pet care at a time. Does anybody listen to it? No.
No.
Nobody listened to it
For-
when the barricade was up.
Yeah.
yeah.
For
On-
the store that I go to, they've actually just lifted the entire cricket thing and brought it to the register.
That was how it was before, and then all of us at pet care started to get pissed off, so we just put it back.
Oh, because this
'Cause it
one's
was our
really
podium.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it's their podium. This one's so small that it's like pet care is you can see it from the registers.
Yeah,
and
you-
there's usually only 2 staff members.
and with most stores, the pet care is like on the side, but for us, that's where the trading arena is, and pet care's all the way in the back. So if we have to like fill if we have to do the refills for like the food and the water, or God forbid we have to feed our animals, you have to come all the way to the front, get the stuff we need, come all the way to the back, risk dropping cricket water, and
Ugh.
it's just a big like annoyance.
Cricket
So-
water's nasty, guys.
It's like freaking Jello, but like not
yeah,
good.
it is. I've got
It
orange
feels so
cubes
sweet.
instead of the cricket water, which
Yeah.
is food and water. And they remind me of carrots.
Yeah, I could see that.
I got hiccups. And I'm
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Trevor, didn't you want to talk about Mass Effect?
Yeah.
So
Tell me about the Mass Effect.
yeah, basically. Yeah, so I finished my other playthrough where I was focusing on romance TV, and I did that.
Hey.
From the one scene at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which I knew it was coming. I didn't think it was coming that quickly. So I was like, all right, well, screw coffee. This is gonna wake me up. Holy crap!
Wait, what?
So if you follow the romance
Sexy
line
time.
between PB and the main character, in my case, it was a female. There's a sex scene, but it's extremely explicit.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
that's the thing is, between the original trilogy and Andromeda, BioWare suddenly realized that they can actually,
Figure out how animations work.
figure out how sex works. And it's also
Like,
really funny if you
animation,
play through
physics.
Andromeda. Exactly. If you play through Andromeda, there is a serious, animation quality spike whenever there's a love scene.
Well, they
Yeah.
know where their money comes from.
Like,
They
if
know
you
exactly
Yes,
where their money
exactly.
comes from.
Because I know, like,
But,
in aim position still, they still have a bit of that hover hand, and the hand's going, like, it looks like people are touching, but they're not
Oh,
touching.
Andromeda makes
Oh,
the
yeah.
position look tame.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the problem with that actually is going backwards in time. They got in trouble. BioWare got in trouble for Dragon Age Origins,
Yeah, it makes sense.
even though it looks like, hey, they're shirtless, which you can do just by taking off armor. And their underwear was like, it looked like they were wearing a giant diaper. You remember that
I mean, yeah, I remember that.
in Origins? And they got in
Vaguely.
trouble for that. So they had to make everything tame. So that's why I think it was Mass Effect 2, all of those scenes were with clothes on.
Well,
I
no,
wouldn't
there was.
necessarily call. Well, I mean, taming compared to Andromeda maybe, but if you do like a Sarah romance, you see tits galore.
Oh
Yeah, no.
Inquisition
That's
definitely
once we get into
bumped it
Inquisition
up.
and then Andromeda, that's when they started to loosen it because other games were getting away with far worse.
Well, because also the original Mass Effect 1, actually, you can
Oh.
find on YouTube, there's a really funny segment on Fox News where there's just like where people are like wildly misrepresenting the game because there was like rumors that the game had like full on pornographic
Dear
content.
God. No, that's Andromeda.
And people were like, "How are you making our kids watch this?" Barring the fact that the original Mass Effect and the entire Mass Effect series are rated M,
Is it really?
For,
yeah.
yeah, M for mature.
M for mature, and the people talking about it's just so funny because again, 2007, and also you look back on even the stuff in Mass Effect 1, and it's like PG-13 level stuff. And thinking, God, if we could show the stuff that happens in Andromeda
I mean,
to these people,
From
they'd have a
what-
heart attack. It'd be
what I-
amazing.
from what I've heard of Andromeda,
Yeah,
it makes me
that's it.
scared and like scared and intrigued by the new Dragon Age. What the hell how they're gonna
Ooh,
go
yeah.
there?
You could get some kinky shit.
Because they've already got Kunari, and I'm a little bit afraid.
Oh no.
Hey, I'm not. I'm
mean,
excited.
You're gonna run
Andromeda
the
showed that they're at least willing to animate naked aliens. Like there was they finally were being like, okay, what would one of these alien species look like naked?
Well,
And
like,
now
have you
we
seen
know.
the image of
Yeah.
Because apparently, like, the whole censoring of Iron Bull is apparently it was rumored that there was originally something built underneath for them to censor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
concerning.
think all of BioWare is actually rated M, even the Dragon Age games.
Yes. All of the Dragon Age series are rated M.
See, I've never paid attention to ratings in my life, and I don't intend to start now.
Well, honestly, game ratings are honestly a lot more strict in a lot of areas.
Yeah. I used to
than
play Grand
films.
Theft Auto when I was like.
Really young.
Well,
I
Grand
play-
Theft Auto will always warrant their
Yeah.
M ratings.
It used to be really fun. I used to like steal the taxis and then drive try to follow the laws as best I could. And when I eventually broke them, I would just run over pedestrians and get away. It's like, fine, if I'm gonna be bad, I might as well kill everybody while I'm going out. Maybe that's a bad.
Yeah,
maybe that's a
exactly.
sign.
Well, you're hardly the first person to think to play one of these big open world games and think, what's it like to go on a killing spree?
Well, no, for me it was like I always
Yeah.
wanted to try and do things normally, and then when I couldn't, like, well, fine, I'll just run over
Murder.
people instead.
Murder
Yeah.
is your friend. Murder is
I
fun.
know,
I'm sorry that my voice fluctuates as I move around.
I know in the original Red Dead Redemption, you can actually get an achievement for kidnapping a random woman, hog tying her, and then leaving her on a train track to get run over by a train.
It's funny.
Damn.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Anyway,
hilarious.
So my Mass Effect playthrough that I'm doing currently, I'm calling it the Slut Run.
Yes.
I love it.
Basically, the whole entire goal is to bang as many people as possible.
It's not difficult.
It's not.
Pretty sure.
Like I'm already like starting relationships with like 3 people at the moment. So I'm
I
already
think
on
you're
track.
only. Yeah. The only one you won't be able to get are the gender locked ones.
Yeah, which I think
No, I know
is,
that,
if you're female, I don't think you can romance Cora.
No, I can't.
That
And
seemed
I'm not doing
ironic.
Suvi. I already made that mistake.
You know what?
I'm not doing Suvi. I've already made that mistake.
Oh, yes. Herald
Like,
the lesbians.
sweet lass, but nothing happens.
Nope.
not
I've
on
already
the bang
done
train.
Carrie and I've done TV, so now I'm focusing on Joel. Reyes,
And my
I think
babe?
his name is. I'm gonna do Liam.
Yes.
I'm gonna do all the guys essentially because I've done all the women.
Well, I
You even
know,
got my Vetra?
I did actually.
The true pansexual experience.
Yep.
Yeah. Bang everybody.
It's like Pokemon.
All
except
of them.
No, I'm not gonna go there.
No.
Don't go there, please.
Gotta bang them all.
Gotta bang them all, Pokemon. We already have the
Oh,
And then if
We
you
already
if
have
if
the
you're not
problem.
safe, then it really does become the gotta catch 'em all.
yeah, exactly.
Don't pull a Barnabas, man.
Oh,
Nobody can pull a
God.
Barnabas.
You see,
Barnabas can.
You see, if Rockstar made like a Mass Effect game, you could probably be able to get like an alien STD, because Rockstar seems to enjoy making their main protagonists sick through some variation or the other.
Fair enough.
Oh, that's
Well, there's also Fable.
Oh god, I forgot about Fable.
Fable 1, 2, 3. You could get STDs.
See, I never, because I was a kid back then. I never really like went that route. I would always like just marry the one person.
You can still get your STD from the one person you married.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever paid attention to that. I only ever played
think
Fable 2 and 3, but though.
3 had some weird achievements with banging people. And I think at the end, my brother had something like 203 STDs.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't stop, it just goes.
You just get. It's you
Just a
get
number.
Supreme
Does
just
it cause like
syphilis.
physical ailments at some point, or
I don't even think so. I think it's just a number that pops up on your loading screen.
at that point it's almost just like it's a high score that you're trying to beat.
Essentially, that's what was going on.
Oh,
We
dear
were seeing
God.
how I think he went to the point where he's just like, how high does this go?
I mean, at that point, it just becomes a scientific, like.
Yeah,
you
it's just a
gotta
scientific
know.
adventure.
Yeah, I mean the
To know.
sky's the limit.
Not even then, if you're
Yeah.
in. Not even then, if it's Mass Effect.
That's true.
That is true.
Okay. I almost burnt my finger off again.
We spent
Okay, put
a good
Wow.
everything down.
majority of this
I put it
podcast
down.
talking
I'm
about
holding nothing.
video game fucking.
I mean, that's
See,
generally
this
how
is
it works,
why
though.
you need like fidget things. I have,
have
like
a
3
fidget
different
cube.
fidget things.
This is why fidget spinners existed in the first place.
Exactly. I have like a little like fidget.
Let me get my
stick.
cube.
Before they got capitalized on by the man.
I want a fidget cube so bad, guys.
I got one.
I had a cube. It's overrated, honestly.
See, but like I
Well,
tried
there's different ones though. Like some of them have different fidgets.
see, because like I've tried other fidget toys. Like I had a spinner and they were fun and entertaining. But then I was like, well, no, I'm just spending all of my time spinning this. And I had
Yeah.
one of like those the weird like interlock like it's like a loop of like chains almost, and you kind of just move them in
Oh,
different positions.
yeah.
And I got bored of that really quickly. But like, I don't know. I feel like like one of the fidget rings or like a fidget like cube would actually be really helpful for me because then I can like
Yeah,
Fiddle
that
around with
has
it.
like a bunch of different things that you can do. And,
Yeah, this one's got 6 different things.
I would imagine so. Cubes usually have 6 sides.
No, one side's literally just a thumb. It's just a nothing. It's flat.
yeah.
That seems boring.
It's where a finger would sit normally.
Oh, yeah. See, I
But
like
one side has 2 different things on it.
See, I like the ones that have like, cause like they have the button ones and like there's like those ones that have like a little groove in it for you like worry stone kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what this flat side is.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the groove.
It has a thumbprint groove.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's normal.
I have a
I-
legit therapy rock that has a little thumb groove from when I was in that accident a few years ago.
I used to, but I at one point I think I found like a really smooth stone that I just kind of made my fidget like my worry stone. I'm now
Yep.
fidgeting with my hands, guys.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
where I used to work at EB Games, we used to sell fidget spinners, and then
Back
The
when
thing
they were
is-
huge.
back when they were here, the thing is, when I started working there, that like they weren't big anymore. When I started working there, like we eventually sold them for like, I think we eventually started selling them for like 5 cents.
or whatever.
5
Yeah.
cents. Like I think we had one of our regulars come in and bought all of them for like $20, and there was like a good 50 odd.
Yeah. Dude, I just
Fidget
remember your
spinners.
shelves of them, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
That
The
was
thing is, there's a part of me that
ridiculous.
kind of misses them because I actually
I think I still
enjoy
have one.
fidgeting, and honestly, at work we would have a couple of them just out, and I would just spend sometimes while I was working, I would just have one in my hand being like spin, spin, spin. I'm like, eh.
Yeah, but especially at the one you were at, there was like hours of dead. Was there not?
I mean,
There were some times when I walked in there and it looks like you guys were bored out of your goddamn minds.
I mean, you did spend a while trying to fix Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
Oh yes, have I ever mentioned the Obi-Wan Kenobi story?
What happened
What?
to Obi's lightsaber?
So this is
What
weirdly
did you
enough,
do with
this
it?
wasn't on a day I was working there, but I came to visit in with Chrissy, and we had two of our other coworkers were in there, and we were getting. This is about the time we were getting pop figures of the Clone Wars cartoon. So they were doing like our inventory and taking our shipments out of the boxes and stuff, and one of them was a pop figure of Obi-Wan Kenobi, with his lightsaber was bent at almost 90 degrees.
It was pretty curved. He was having a little problems.
It was pretty curved, and just the jokes that arose from that
They
scenario.
kept having to warm it up to get it to go upright.
Yeah, we kept having to like bend it to make it stand up at attention, as it were.
Maybe he just needs some pills.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, he is a
No.
little old.
He's a little old.
But yeah, that was an experience.
That was an experience. There's a lot of stories like that for Amiibo games. I swear. I don't know how many of them I can actually tell. Although I don't work there anymore, so.
I had some special times at my work.
Yeah. I do miss the
Yeah.
place, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair. I remember when the Switch came out. God, that was... I got
think-
called. Our manager called me and she's like, "Do you know why all these people are outside my door?" I'm like, "Yeah, the Switch came out today. It comes out today." And she's like,
Well, no.
"What?" Manager of the store didn't know that the Switch was coming out.
I remember, cause I started working there a little bit after the Switch came out, but I do remember when we would get our NES classics in.
Ooh.
That's a
Oh,
danger time.
That was a fucking nightmare. Because like we'd have a fair amount of people coming in just to check it out, but we had, because of how they were made, we received so few of them. Because again, they were collector's items, so yeah, it makes sense that we wouldn't receive
A lot.
boxes of them. But then,
Especially because that's just that's just like, hey, see these expensive items? Come steal them.
well, the thing is, the issue we had was we would just get scalpers.
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the area I worked at, we had like scalpers that also worked in the mall. Like we had a security guard who worked in the mall we were at, who was like a really obvious scalper. So it was just kind of it would honestly, dealing with scalpers is kind of hilarious because
Should you
They're
explain
not-
what a scalper is for?
I mean,
Who
okay,
doesn't know what a scalper is?
I don't know. I mean, I had to look it up once.
okay, just
Oh,
for the little ones who are listening, if there are any little ones listening to
For the
Or-
innocent one.
where
Ramble
are
on-
your parents?
Or
If
the
there's-
people who just don't know.
But basically, a scalper is somebody who will buy a hot ticket item, or buy more than one, usually hot ticket item, and then proceed to resell it online for an extremely large amount of money.
Kind of like at that point when people bought like a shit ton of like hand sanitizer and then tried to sell them.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. Hey, keeping it topical, I like it. But yeah, we would have scalpers coming in looking for the NES and the SNES when that came out.
I got one of those actually from your store, Devin.
Nice. And yeah, it was one of the downsides of working at a place like that is like you're gonna get scalpers or stuff like that. But thing is, it would be kind of amazing sometimes because honestly, some of them are so goddamn stupid, and they're so obvious. Because they'll come in and be like, "Hey, can I get like?"
Four.
They'll come up with like, "We'll get this like a couple of pop chases, like chase pop figures," and they'll come
I
up
don't
with
know what
like
that means.
basically they're extra super duper rare pop figures. So like for example, there was one when they had like the Avatar: The Last Airbender pops came out. There'd be a regular one of Aang on a little air scooter, and then the chase of that would be the same figure except Aang's in the Avatar state.
Okay.
So it'd be like
super rare one.
super rare ones. So and there would be somebody coming in and like would grab all of the chases off the wall and be like, "Here," and we're like, "We can't do that." Because thing is, Depending on like what story you're at, it's kind of like, you know, whatever. But thing is, sometimes if somebody wants to get like 2 of them, generally it's fine. But it would kind of
Raise some flags.
it would raise some flags, and from that point on, it's like, well, if you want to get 4 of them, it's like no. So
Yeah, it was kind of like, I know when we were at peak quarantine, I know that we had to limit how many people could buy, like how much cat litter people could buy,
yeah.
because people were just buying like a shit ton, no pun intended, of cat litter, and it was like, okay, cool, you planning on shitting in it yourself because you got no toilet paper? Like, what's your plan here, guys?
People
I don't know why they were
so
hoarding
low on
cat
toilet
litter. That
paper.
was a
I'm
weird
like, I
one.
will use the cat litter.
Yeah.
You ever wiped your ass with gravel? Fucking hurts, mate.
Yeah, I don't know how the cats do it.
Well, they don't
Wipe their ass.
I know. Like I said, I literally don't know how the cats do it.
Yeah, to your scalpers, because I was called to man the Switch ones, because their head electronics person wasn't in that day. They didn't schedule anyone extra for it,
Oh,
And
boy.
and I knew it. I knew enough about the consoles that I could answer everyone's
I swear
questions,
to
even
God,
though
Kira, you're just a bard with a jack of all trades.
that is exactly my skill set.
Like, you're legitimately your classic
I'm a
bard.
bard. Charisma, out the anus.
Wait, no shit. Kira's actually a bard.
Yeah, no, Kira's always been a bard.
Yeah, I just, you never really try to like put a class to your friends.
Well, except I'm gonna try and do that right now. So, because I'm trying to think of what.
See, mine's very easy.
Yeah, you were a bard.
I'm
What
a
would
bard.
I be?
I am a storyteller. I don't know. Barnabas. Yes, the class Barnabas should have
There you
been,
go.
but he's a cleric. To everyone's hatred.
Sure.
He is
Actually-
a bard. He's not a
actually,
bard, but he
You
is
know
a
what's
bard.
funny is I'm probably, out of all of the D&D classes, I'm probably a fighter because I am very milquetoast.
Yeah.
Milk toast, plain white boy. But with the scalper problem, I think we had like 20 total switches. And we had a lineup of 30 odd people.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Because the area
And we had,
looked
like-
at was like
Yeah.
a smaller
Outside my doors.
area. Yeah. Because I'm trying to think of like what was probably the craziest launch, like for a game or anything like that.
Red Dead?
Honestly, probably be either Red Dead. It was, I think, a tie between Red Dead and Super Mario Odyssey. And granted, neither of which were honestly like, because again, we were a smaller store and a smaller mall. But even then, it was pretty.
Just be glad you be glad you weren't working then when Last of Us came out, probably.
No, I'm honestly so glad I was out of there before Last of Us came out, because knowing the people that would come into our store sometimes, and also knowing how the internet was responding to a lot of the leaks, and how also the internet is responding to the game now that it's out, I would have gotten so many fucking like incels coming in and being like complaining to me about the fucking game.
I really wish we could actually talk about it more, because some of the things that are happening really piss me off.
Yeah,
With,
but we're
a
not
certain
allowed.
person.
We're only, I think, a few weeks after launch.
Oh yeah, well actually no, we can talk about that.
Can we?
Well, we can talk about the voice actors and the directors getting death threats, because that's what's
What?
been happening.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I can't talk exactly about why, because the
a
game
big spoiler.
storyline wise goes through some areas. The thing is, the main thing people are pissed off about, which again I won't mention, but it's something that honestly, and again maybe it's just because I kind of saw it coming as a creative writing type, and it just, to me, it made
makes
sense for
sense.
the story.
It just makes narrative sense.
But it's just like people were just enraged that this particular event happens, especially so early into the game. And one of the characters involved with that is a major character who's played by
Laura Bailey.
who people probably know from like Critical Role and like a bunch of other video games.
Because what else has she been in?
Well, she was in.
Uncharted 4.
Yeah, she
she's
was
Nadine.
Nadine Ross from Uncharted 4.
Oh.
Trying to remember what else.
Yeah, I
She's
can't
been
think. I'll
in.
look it up, but
She's been in like a giant amount of, especially video games and stuff like that. I think she's in Dragon Age. She plays the actual Bianca in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, she does? I never even thought about that.
Yep.
But basically, and the thing is, we're very familiar with Laura Bailey right now because Laura Bailey is in Critical Role, and we've been watching Critical Role, and also just the fact that Last of Us and Critical Role share so many of the same voice actors and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, she's Mary Jane in the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, she is. But basically, the character Laura Bailey plays in Last of Us is a very integral part, and as a character, partially because the character she plays is, well, first of all,
She's very important.
is a woman.
I would hope so.
A very muscular woman.
A very muscular woman, and there was a lot of
I
rumors.
like her already.
There was a lot of rumors going around regarding whether or not
her gender identity
before the game came out, because a lot of people thought that her character in the game was trans. She's not. There is a trans character in The Last of Us Part 2, but it's not the Laura Bailey character.
But, you know, God forbid that there is a anything other than a straight white male.
Right? Especially because, like, the main character is already a lesbian. So it's like, it's a lot of very, like, Last Jedi-esque backlash.
But yeah, she's been getting, like, a lot of, like, death threats. And
Yeah,
it's just,
she's been getting death
So
threats.
what I'm understanding, to sum this up, is the internet's full of a bunch of weebs who don't understand that different things are okay, and they all need to shove their face in a sack.
Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, it's been kind of sad just seeing, you know, these really nice people. I'm assuming.
It really angry, yeah.
And also,
And it's like, it's not. They play a character. They are not that character.
well, especially because, especially in the game The Last of Us goes out of its way to wedge a separation between the player themselves and the character who they are playing as. Like the first Last of Us was very famous for the ending sequence being like, oh hey, I totally wouldn't actually be doing this in real life, but I'm not the character is doing this. Yeah. And this isn't a BioWare RPG where you can choose what you do. It's like, no, you are
doing this, the end.
You have no agency on in the actual plot. So
have either of you played Fire Emblem Fates?
No.
No? Okay. I'm trying to find other things that you guys might know her from.
Oh, well, I was okay with what we had.
Yeah.
That's a good variety of things.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of weebs being assholes.
She's also Dagna from Dragon Age.
Oh yeah, that's right, she's Dagna as well.
God, well, that's weird.
But yeah, no, it's been the conversation has been.
We could call that a conversation if you like.
Sure. It's just been kind of, and again, as somebody who, like, this isn't even as part of a lot of very popular fandoms. This is not my first rodeo, and I don't think this is.
It's not your last.
It's not going to be the last. Hopefully, as a content creator, I honestly, there's part of me that almost like I wish I could create something that would cause this much controversy. Because I remember I saw a quote from like a Tumblr post and something where it's like, I want to create something so good the fandom becomes toxic.
Yeah.
That's a good, to be honest, that's an understandable goal.
Yeah,
or
I get it.
Because you
could create something so horrid that you hate yourself and your players hate you.
Yeah.
But you do it anyway.
Like, you have made an impact. Because honestly, that to me is like what I want to be as a content creator. It's like, I'm not, to me, I will take a movie or a piece of media that is absolute garbage over something that is just like
Yeah, like, and I think, because, no, this is going to be kind of, like, I think it possibly off topic, but kind of in a similar vein. It's like, because you can get, like, really good movies, but because they don't really create much of a conversation, people tend to forget that they exist.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
Shark Tale?
Dude, well, no, we don't...
Was Shark Tale a good movie?
No.
Yes. Yes, it was.
But, like,
okay,
for
that's
example,
a conversation for another podcast,
like,
I think. But...
like Avatar, like, I don't remember much about Avatar.
Yeah. Actually, that's a very good point, and there's a YouTuber.
It was like the most expensive. It made the most money, but does anybody actually remember much of it?
Well, because that's the funny thing is, I remember when Avatar came out, and everyone's like, "This is the best thing ever created." And even I, when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of like critical thinking, analysis skills back then. When I saw it, like, this is great. And then looking back, honestly, I don't dislike Avatar or anything. I will probably watch it again at some point. But like, can I remember the characters really like?
I remember their weird ponytails and how they would connect to everything,
their horses?
including
They fucked the planet.
literally.
But yeah, it's
but like, can you actually remember? Do you even remember their names? Like, I don't remember their names.
well, it's like, I mean, I'll gladly be proven wrong, but honestly, like hearing that there are, because the thing is, the sequel is being filmed right now.
Oh,
actually.
right, I forgot about that.
Apparently, they're doing like.
The sequel is being filmed still.
Yep. Well, because the thing is, they only actually have started shooting it like a little while before the quarantine started. Like, it took about now 10 years for it to even start to get filmed. Because I think what I hear is that a lot of it now, they're going to be dealing with a lot of like the aquatic life of the planet, because James Cameron is honestly at this point making these movies as an excuse to do more deep sea diving. Because that was the reason he made Titanic.
I mean,
was because he wanted an excuse to be like go down and like look at the wreckage of the Titanic.
I mean, that's completely valid.
Absolutely.
If you got the money to burn and you can if you can convince somebody to pay you to do your hobby, why not?
But I have a sneaking suspicion that when the Avatar sequels come out, they're not going to reach the like bajillion-dollar level.
If they do, I'll be disappointed.
Because thing is, it's because when the original Avatar came out, it was kind of
a pioneer.
It was a pioneer in terms of the technology and stuff, and now honestly, most movies now kind of look more or less, or at least they're at the Avatar level of effects quality. And even honestly, looking back at Avatar, the effects honestly do still hold up really well. But I'm curious to see what the reaction will be, just because Avatar as a franchise, I feel just looking at the
it's
response
better
online,
as a one kind of
it's
thing.
not had the staying power that a lot of other like Marvel has had a staying power for better and for worse.
Perhaps a little long, but
yeah, I don't know. I feel like if there were particular people who were still on the podcast would probably get very mad at me for saying this, but I'm kind of tired of Marvel right now.
Yeah, like I feel like
That's fair.
In like Endgame was like a good ending.
Well, that's the thing is, like, Endgame was a really good finale, and now I'm just like, I don't feel much of a responsibility to keep
with the exception
going
of, like,
with
the
it.
Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, the Spider-Man's probably going to be good. And the thing is, I probably still go see all of the Marvel movies, probably.
Absolutely.
But yeah, at this point, I'm just kind of like,
What has you sent?
Get out of here.
Is it up?
Roll that out.
We've got a peach in the throne room.
Let's see here.
Did you guys like my
Peach butt.
addition?
Yeah.
The peach butt.
There's a Pete.
There's a Peach butt. Peach was in here for a few minutes and she was being an asshole.
And so you responded by showing us her asshole.
I tried to get a picture of her face. Let me show you what the other picture I got.
Is she doing any better? Because like I know with the puppies were pretty harsh for her.
Yeah, she is gaining weight again.
That's good.
Yeah, I was really worried about her. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we got yelled at several times by people.
Well,
They're like, she's getting double the food of the other dog. She wouldn't stay still. She wouldn't stay still.
Like, it's totally understandable because, yeah, like if you just see a dog like that on the streets, you're gonna be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
But also, it's like she did just give birth to
9 gigantic puppies.
big puppies that were sucking her dry.
Like her body was not made for that many puppies of that size.
No.
Poor
No,
thing.
they were too big.
They're too
God, I
big
think
and
when
there
the
are too
last
many
one
of them.
left, they were a third of the size of her
Jesus fuck.
Oh my god.
at 8 weeks old.
Yeah, like
God.
they're gonna take after their dad.
Yeah, I told them, like, minus the chocolate ones, which were visibly smaller. Like, we got them weighed, and most of them were around, like, 10 pounds.
Fuck.
Damn.
That's more than my cat.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that weigh more than
Some
our cat.
some of them were up to 12 pounds. The heavier one was, I think the heaviest one was 12.6.
Chungus? No, Madison,
No,
right?
Madison. Chungus was 12.5.
He barely.
Just missed it.
Yeah.
He lost his
was-
he lost his Chungus status.
Well, no, I think he still gained. I still consider him the biggest because Madison had legs. Like, she was visibly taller than Chungus. Chungus was squat like Peach.
I love the way that's worded. He was
Chungus.
the biggest because she had legs.
Yeah,
As opposed to
she had
others.
legs. She had visible, like, she looked like a normal puppy, where Chungus was this squat, muscly fuck.
He had the full corgi going on.
I've got a picture of Chungus. Where's my Chung Chung?
We're gonna have like.
Trevor did a good job. He put the pictures in it last time that we put up.
Oops, I dropped something.
Yeah.
Stop
do it
breaking the
again.
couch.
I'm not breaking the couch.
Break the couch.
Maybe
Um,
not a
Send me
peach butt though.
like a liar.
No, don't do peach butt. Please don't do
I won't
peach
do
butt.
peach butt.
For context with the break, we have like that metal or that baby.
There's me and Chung Chung.
Oh.
That was like my last hour with Chungus. We were napping. He was napping on
Aw.
the couch with me.
Oh no.
Yeah,
My
no, like we have that
boy.
plastic. You know how we have that like plastic pull-out part of the couch.
Yes.
Well, apparently it's a little bit old because it's crackling a little in the corners, and Devin is now playing with a teeny tiny little, well, not teeny tiny, like a sliver of the plastic bit that he looks like he's trying to stab the couch with.
It's crack-a-lackin'.
No.
That's it. You're fired.
I'm voted off the island.
No, you're
You
voted
should
off.
have voted off the island.
The tribe has spoken.
We have our new sacrifice to the balcony gods.
Balcony gods, we have your
We
sacrifice.
can get the frog back.
All hail frog!
Ooh,
I
actually,
forgot about the frog.
this is coming in from out of absolutely nowhere, but like, I feel like now since Victoria's not on the podcast anymore, this conversation won't carry as much weight. But how are we all feeling about J.K. Rowling these days?
Wah
what has she been up to?
wah.
Oh, do you guys not know?
She's become a turf.
Become?
I think she's been a turf.
She's become a
for-
public turf.
She's been like accused of. So turf, by the way, is a trans
radical exclusionary feminists. I
No.
think, or
trans
feminists.
exclusive radical feminist.
Word.
Yeah, that's it. I'm mixing up my letters.
Basically,
Karen.
You know, yeah, basically, women
I
are
support.
only women if they have feminine genitalia.
Yeah, basically, I support women's rights as
When
long
it benefits
as,
me.
as long as they're cisgendered.
Yeah, but yeah, like there's always been like hints of it, and like for the past
Yeah.
few years, but now it's becoming more and more like
Basically, she's
she's
becoming
digging a
more
deeper and deeper grave for herself.
and more open on Twitter,
Oh,
and like, it's at this point, it's like it's not even something that like
It's not
I
even
think
surprise at this point.
it's. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Honestly, yeah.
Because I'm just like, and especially because, her books and the franchise she created was been so successful.
Although if you think about it, like
But
there are like if you think critically about like some of the books, there are some concerning aspects of them that people don't really think about.
yeah, although a lot of it, honestly, I feel like you can chalk up to just the fantasy genre and how a lot of people wrote it in general, like the whole goblins being kind of Jewish stereotypes.
Well, what about the house elves who are happy to be enslaved?
Yeah, that thing always, even when I was a kid, I was like,
yeah.
that's a weird moral to be
I don't-
preaching.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's one of those things, I bet the movies now are like really glad they didn't put that in there. Because
Yeah,
I think
sounds
people are
like-
starting to realize, hang on, that's kind of fucked. Like, they honestly, like this whole race of people that want to be enslaved.
Yeah, like I didn't even really think like I didn't know anything about that because I grew up watching the movies, and then I eventually I think at one point I just started reading the books because I had free time and my mother kept taking the internet away at night and I wouldn't always stay up. Not that that's changed ever, but I would like read the books when I was bored. And I'm like, hold on, this isn't right.
And then there's
That's
the whole,
this
hey,
fuck.
see, Snape was actually a good guy, and he totally wasn't.
No. Although I think that one actually was more fandom. Like, I think he was always meant to be kind of like
Yeah, I don't think it was really meant
morally
for,
gray.
like, hey, he was a good guy. It's like, no, he just was not.
He's not as bad as we thought, but he's still a dick.
Yeah.
And he was still abusive towards his students,
Yeah.
but
Still kind of a stalker.
But the thing is, I feel like the difference between a lot of other fantasy stuff and what J.K. Rowling is doing is, well, first of all, it's fairly clear. Like, I've heard that the conversation means more to me, honestly, because the conversation's between, well, see, Tolkien was racist too, which, honestly, there's no real evidence to suggest that, just because a lot of his fantasy...
I mean, he did start a lot of those fantasy tropes.
He didn't start it, though. He carried it on a lot of it.
That's not much better.
No, it isn't better. It's not good. But the thing is, and also, Tolkien has been dead for a long time,
True.
and he's not on Twitter right now.
Oh, that does actually
Digging
remind
himself a bigger grave.
Yeah.
That actually does remind me, though. So, have you guys heard about anything about what the Wizards of the Coast are doing?
No.
So, from my understanding, because I was reading up about this, they're revamping like a whole bunch of like the evil, like the races that are considered evil. So, like the Drow, the Orcs, stuff like that. And they're actually delving in and giving them a more nuanced kind of like society and stuff like that. Basically, they're recognizing that a lot of the legacy of what these races were considered, like the half orc, and their whole barbarianism and all that stuff, and how it's steeped in racial stereotypes, and they're actually going through and like kind of adjusting it and fixing it to be a little bit more aware of these kinds of things and actually making them more like appropriate now.
Basically, they're doing away with the whole concept of like evil races.
But
So.
okay, so here's good on them and all that, but here's the only problem I have with that is D&D in its in general D&D. Yeah, it can be a quote unquote evil race. Says who? The book that no one ever fucking read?
Well, that's it. But the thing is,
Like,
because a lot of these
It can you can make it whatever you want though, is the problem.
well,
Like, it doesn't, there is no sure devil evil, like, hey, yeah, this culture worships a spider god that is actually evil, but doesn't mean they're all evil.
no, but like there's the general, like there's still the stereotype behind it, and that's what they're kind of fixing, is a lot of that kind
I
of
think
thing.
it's more just because honestly, there will be times in the book where it's like, hey, these races are generally
It's like there's just like
generally evil. It's like, it's not so much like these races are evil, but still the whole like going on saying these
'Cause
races are generally considered evil. It's like, well, that's
and these
not
are the
great
exceptions. It's like
either.
they're still like that's still not okay. But yeah, because like they're going through I mean, the way like you consider it is like because like if you want to put it into comparison, it's like, oh well, all of this, like all of, I don't know, like black people are considered harsh and cruel, but you few people, you're okay, you're good, and it's like that's not okay.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying that D&D is a world created upon itself so that the DM or the players themselves can say, you know what? Fuck the stereotypes, out the window. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, I think they're talking about just general D&D.
They're changing the quote unquote lore that most people don't listen to in general.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that's
still
true.
people who do the modules though.
And there's also people who work their campaigns into that lore.
Yeah.
So it's to me it's not really like a huge deal, but I think it is nice that they're doing that. I think it's more just like,
Oh, hey, one of the new books that they're changing the light, because it's like we present orcs and drow in a new light in the two of our most recent books, Eberron Rising from the Last War and Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, which is actually the Critical Role one.
yeah, because I think it's more of just dealing with issues in fantasy where some races in fantasy have a lot of stereotypes from real life races put onto them. Like there's been issues like with orcs being kind of related to black. Like there's a movie I remember called Bright, which a couple of years ago, which
I think that was actually last year.
Was it?
might have been like it was a couple years
This
ago.
year
I
feels
think.
like 3 years long. To be
But
fair.
it was basically
I think
No, that was
Bright came out.
2017.
it was like the concept of Onward, except it was like a police movie where it's like modern day with Will Smith, but like they have all the orcs are like gangsters and stuff. Yeah, it's not great. But so yeah, it's stuff like that that I feel like that's more what they're trying to do, in changing their lore. Because also D&D, like quote unquote mythology, even though like not very many people
Care.
utilize it or care, it's still to me it's a very large has a large impact on the rest of the fantasy
genre.
as a whole, because D&D is so influential, especially now becoming a lot more mainstream. So I think it's just probably what's the word I'm looking for? Well, progressive, but also just like
It's just a good way to bring it into the new.
it's just I feel like it's just kind of
It is a good. I am worried though with them doing that they're going to change the entire system from 5e to another E, and I don't want to buy more.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're going to do
it
that.
looks like
I feel like
it's just a new book.
I feel like it's
Right,
just
don't add any more books. I'm just getting into it.
Oh,
Yeah, but like last
you have
time
no
they did
idea.
something like this, we developed 3.5.
I mean, well, right
Remember?
now it looks like it's just the 2 new books, the Eberron and the Critical Role Wildmount one.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
no.
But anyways, I feel like we should probably
And
Probably wrap it up here.
yeah,
because I think we're at the hour mark.
Yeah,
now.
we are. Yeah, we're about.
we are past the hour mark.
Yeah, so unless anyone else has anything to add,
I don't think so.
No,
no,
it's
I
just
think,
goodbyes.
I think we're all talked out.
I mean, well, we're never talked out.
Well, no, we're never talked out, but you know.
I also don't have any more topics for the day.
No, I'm out.
I always have topics, but
Of
on that
course,
note,
keeping them.
there was no story time with Kira. We're sorry.
Next week,
Next week we'll do more.
Next week you'll probably hurt yourself
Try-
you'll
again.
burn
try to
yourself
have
with that
some-
lighter in your hands.
I'll try to have something resembling a jingle by next week as well.
Oh
I
yeah.
can tell you,
Yes.
I burnt my hand literally just before the podcast,
For
and
fuck's
I
sakes.
pulled a hair out of my eyeball.
What? What?
Yeah.
Cool. On that note,
On that note,
Bye, everybody.
good day.
Bye.
uh,
Bye.